Yeah, I was really concerned. Too many times I had those minor quote unquote victories just for them to snatch it away with some atrocity, some brutality, some, even if it's not necessarily physical, although many times the drugs have a physical effect. That's why I'm literally refraining myself from saying that the drugs, from the crimes that they do physically, like, they're standing there and stalking, call stalker crimes instead of physical crimes, because the drugs are fundamentally physical, right? They don't even use those drugs for psychological reasons anymore. They did today. They actually do them periodically. But the major point, let's phrase what I just said again. They use those drugs for reasons far more physical these days than psychological. As it was back home, they use those psychological drugs that they use on me here in this place in particular a lot to make me very unproductive. But that was not good enough. They wanted to switch to things that were causing discomfort, pain, because that's what they enjoy seeing, right? So, to call other things physical undermines the strictly physical nature that causes torture drugs, right? What torture drugs do? They cause me so much pain that I can no longer function. What do other drugs of this sort do? Now, you saw the irritation drugs. They cause so much discomfort that I cannot concentrate on anything else. What the shit drugs do? They cause me to need to share and cause all the disturbance that comes from that. What do the anger sweat drugs cause? They cause so much discomfort that I can no longer function. They are theoretically psychological wish, or ask, if you will, is better, because they are more, anger. They cause a lot of anger, but they're very confused with heat sweat drugs or with heat drugs or sweat drugs. They just cause excessively sweating. I don't call even the heat sweat drugs the ones that they use every time I'm searching for something in the backpack. The myth of the, backpack turns around the heat sweat drugs. It's not the heat sweat is the problem. It's not the psychological aspect is the problem. It's the physical anxiety. I'm not talking about anxiety in the sense of a psychological issue or trauma, which both will all be caused by them, and the abuse and even the drug abuse of me. It would be just the drug abuses of me. It would be just the actual effect. And the effect is so physical that it bypasses the inherent psychological nature of anxiety. What harms me is not that I'm anxious or difficult to concentrate even. What harms me is that right now they're throwing another version of those drugs. They're not quite the cold drugs, they're hot drugs. The ones that cause this weird thing in my heart. What bothers me is not anxiety. You can see my brain still fully lucid. I can function, I can talk. It's a physical thing. Not a physical thing, don't have the components potentially, but its impact is that. So again, you can see how inherently physical all those abuses are. They're designed to cause specifically overhaul forms of torture, one way or another, even the psychological ones. The impact on me is not designed to be clandestine and implicit. The impact is designed to be explicit and conscious, almost. The idea that no matter what I can do, I don't know what to do to stop myself from, even the sedation drugs are fundamentally physical in a way that no matter what I can do, I cannot stop myself from passing out. Hey, you're gonna be smacked. Okay, this is a big deal. Chip, why are you poking around the mama cat? Let her eat your food. I saw them fighting there for a second. So, Chip just walked straight into her face and said, what are you gonna do about it? And she was about to do something about it, so I have to put my finger there. All I need is a finger. So much food there. I need to put food for them. Oh yeah, remember that I mentioned irritation drugs? They start throwing those drugs as well. Note, I don't know if they're the same, I think that they're not. But all of a sudden then my body starts itching a lot. So I'm itching in the leg, itching in other places. Now it's just me, but you'll be surprised if you start seeing it. You're not hearing that yet. But if you start noticing all of a sudden the animals also start scratching themselves, which is a big deal because again, each Chip has a thing on her head, which it still didn't have a chance to heal because they will not stop throwing. I forgot. They will not stop throwing those irritation drugs on us and she scratches her head because there's gigantic open wounds there, and they just keep open and they don't close. Now, they caused those wounds as well. Whatever that is, whatever disease, whatever the thing is causing that, it was caused by them. Probably even to her mother. It's probably something relatively simple to treat. I'm just pointing that to you. But I'm saying that on top of that, it just doesn't heal because of them. So again, beautifully represented what I'm talking to you. As a matter of fact, everything that I talk about irritation drugs on myself, that causes the bleeding and causes the rest, you can physically and very brutally as well see doing to this little kitten. Today she was bleeding. I cleaned the blood from her head because she just keeps scratching and removing the wound cap, which causes the bleeding again, and so on and so forth. So again, all the criminals can see what you're seeing right now, by the way. As a matter of fact, they can see more than you can, because they see also the things that they're trying to tamper for you not to see. Today there were several videos. One of the reasons I started recording that, saving those recordings, I literally said that I was afraid that they're going to do something to stop it. Much like now I'm afraid that they're going to try to jump the battery down. Remember I mentioned before? Yeah. So we're going to upload this one and then do it.